Good morning, everyone. We are coming to you live via Facebook streaming, YouTube streaming, and also via Skype. Each one of you is welcome to this live streaming from our studios in Trinidad. Sutras of Vigyan Bhairav Tantra, understanding mind and the way it works. Before that, let me explain to you what is the relationship, the harmony between earth and human body. Earth is the source of life for the nature. Everything that you see, the plants, the animate or inanimate life, they are based on the earth element. Human body decomposes into earth, dissolves into it. Plants are sustained by earth. Earth provides their space for the roots to grow. Each plant grows out of earth and earth sustains. What is the relationship between the earth and the human body? Human body works at two levels. First is inner, the other is outer. The two never work together. When you are waking, the outer element is at play, it works. You see through the outer eyes, you hear through the outer ears, nostrils, touch, all the sense organs, they during the waking state, at that level, they open in the outer world of objects and beings. When you are asleep, the outer door closes, your eyes close, your ears are not open, then the inner mechanism begins. The inner mechanism of unconscious and subconscious begins. The two never work together. When you are waking, the outer dimension is activated. When you are asleep, the inner dimension is asleep. So there remains a balance between the two, inner and outer. Without this balance, psychology calls it by different names. The same balance is observed, is part of the earth element. At a time when there is night in certain part of the earth, there is day in other part of the world. When during the day, where this sun seems to have risen, light is there one part remains, there's something awakening, the earth has awakened, is in a waking state, it is active. And in the other part, where there is this, according to your language, sun has set, there what happens? This other element becomes inactive. The life becomes inactive during the night and it gets activated during the day. And this is necessary for creating, for maintaining the balance on the earth. The same science applies the same science applies to human body. The moment outer consciousness goes to sleep, inner consciousness awakes. This is the reason that the major part of the body works during the major part, the inner part, is activated during the sleep moment. But the fact is, man is a sleepwalker. He sleeps while walking. He is asleep while walking. So that's a different thing. During the day, the inner mechanism gets inactive, and as soon as the night falls, the inner life becomes activated. The life that is guided by the unconscious and subconscious. So all those people who go into who are in favor of nightlife, the outer light activity has vanished. So although they are awake, but they are awake and operating with inner mechanism, that is the mechanism of subconscious and unconscious, and that creates a chaos. Introspect on this. Now let me explain to you so that you can understand the mind and how it works. I have heard it's a parable. I have heard there was a mystic, a Sufi. He used to say, he was a poor man. He used to say that someone was presented a very small aircraft by a friend who was a great king. This is telling the parable. There was a person, a poor man, once, but he was the friend of the king. So king presented him a gift, and the gift was of a small aircraft. The man was poor. He had heard about the aeroplane, but he had not seen one. He knew only bullock cart, the cart that is pulled by the bullocks. So he thought that this is a new device, a new type of cart. He was used to the bullocks, so he brought the bullocks and yoked them to the plane. And then he used the bullock cart, he used the plane as the cart pulled by the bullocks. He was very happy. Of course, the small aircraft worked as a cart pulled by the bullocks. Then by and by, just from being curious, he started studying the plane, what it is all about. Then he came to understand that bullocks are not necessary to pull this cart, this new mechanism. This particular mechanism has a motor, and it was able to move on its own. So he fueled it and put on the ignition. He found that it was running on the ground. It started working as a vehicle, motor car. He was very happy that he has invented something that his understanding was that of a cart pulled by the bullocks. Now he came to know that this particular mechanism has a motor in it, and this motor can be fueled, and it works in a different manner. It doesn't need the bullocks. So he was happy. Then by and by he became aware that this particular mechanism, which he thought was a cart, he discovered that it has wings. And he knows birds have wings. And with the wings, birds can soar high in the sky. They can reach to the higher altitudes. So he started introspecting why there are wings in this cart, which he now discovered that it is like a motor vehicle that once you start it, it moves on the ground at a faster speed without the bullocks. So he introspected, was a little bit introspective, probably curious, as sometimes we are. Curiosity is the beginning of invention. So he was curious about it. Why there are wings? Sometimes you may think about it also. Why is this man talking about understanding the mind? I have always known my mind, and it has been a great master for me and helping me. But why is he talking about understanding the mind and knowing the mechanism? So he introspected that why the wings have been put on that. And it seemed to him that the man who had devised this machine must have been very intelligent, a genius, that he removed the use of bullocks. It is not moving with the bullocks, so it went on a different mechanism. So it is no more using the bullocks. Then he started using the ignition and it started moving like a motor vehicle. Then what he did, he saw the wings. He started using he thought that the person who invented this mechanism must have been very intelligent, a genius. Thus, he could have not added the wings unnecessarily. There must have been a purpose behind the wings. The wings showed that the machine could also fly. So he tried. Then the plane came to its own. It became vertical. And then it started flying. And in order to reach to the sky, it went vertical. The bullock cart was moving horizontal. The car was also moving horizontal. But the plane, in order to attain to the altitude at which it will float, it is vertical. You are using the mind in a horizontal way with the bullock cart mentality. You are using the mind in a horizontal way with the bullock cart mentality. The same mind can become a motor vehicle. Then bullocks will not be needed. It will gain momentum, it will gain speed. The more energy goes into it, the cart is being pulled by the bullocks, their energy. Then, when it is fueled and it is being used as a vehicle, its energy level is higher. It can adjust its speed, and bullocks are not needed. It has an inbuilt mechanism, and then it will be moving horizontally at a faster speed. So from the bullock cart stage, your mind has moved to the motor vehicle stage, but still it is moving horizontally on the surface of the earth. You have not known that your mind has wings. It can start moving vertical. From the ground level, it will start moving upward. And when it starts moving upward, reaches a certain altitude at which it has to walk, it has to float, it has to fly. Then it will start moving parallel to the earth, not horizontal, parallel to the earth. What is the difference between moving horizontal and moving parallel? Moving horizontal means the wheels of the vehicle, cart or vehicle, is grounded on the earth, touched on the earth. It is not levitating. Sometimes in meditation you start levitating. Your consciousness starts levitating. Although you are sitting on the ground level, but your consciousness is levitating. So when I say that plane flies parallel to the earth, it has attained a certain altitude. It is now in a levitation. That is the term used in space and that technology. In space, once it crosses the gravitational force of the earth, it goes slanting, and then when it crosses the gravitational force of the earth, it reaches in another zone. Your mind is under the influence of the gravitational force of the earth. Your body, your sense organs, it is pulled by the gravitational force of the body. When you understand the mechanism, it moves beyond the gravitational force of the earth. You experience the state of levitation. Then your horizontal flight begins. And then you are not moving horizontally. However, the same mind, when the man realized that this mechanism does not need it, first he thought that is an advanced type of cart. The cart is open may be decorative, but this have all the facilities, the seats to sit down, to lie down, air conditioning and windows and everything. So it is a very advanced mechanism. But he did not know that it can move on its own, so he started using his bullocks to pull it. The moment he realized that this has a mechanism, it does not require the bullocks, he started using it as a motor vehicle. The same thing happens to your mind. Have you realized the capability of your mind that it does not need bullocks, it does not need walking, creeping, it can gallop. It can move at a faster pace. Then all of a sudden, the day you realize that it has wings also, and I must learn how to use the wings. I must learn how to use the wings of the mind. The moment you learn, you introspect, you begin to learn how to use the wings of the mind, your direction changes. And what gives the wings to the mind? Your awakening, your meditation, your transcendence. It makes you aware that you too can use your wings. Your direction changes. It straight away changes from being horizontal, making you move horizontal on the earth. Grounded, you are grounded, but you are moving at a higher pace than that of a bullock cart. Cart is moving even faster speed than you are pacing on feet. Then you are using a vehicle. Then you realize the significance of the wings. The same cart that you had considered at the time cart, which for you transformed into a motor vehicle, is now transformed. The same mechanism is now transformed for you as a plane that can move vertical to the earth to reach to the higher altitude and then start floating. And once it moves upward, once your energies start moving upward, the whole world is different. Your old questions simply fall down, vanish, and your old problems are no more there. The problems of the bullock cart, the problem of the vehicle is no more there in the plane, because you are now moving vertically. All those problems were there because you was moving horizontally. The problem of a bullock cart are not the problems of a plane. The road, bullock cart, the road was not good. The roads have the potholes. There was a problem for the vehicle. Any vehicle that is moving horizontally, it has problems of its own. The road was blocked. There was a problem. Now, none of these problems, that was the traffic lights, the commuters on the road, the not smooth roads, all these were the kind of problems that you face when you are moving horizontally. When your consciousness moves horizontally, yoked to the earth, your nature of the problems are of a different types. Look at yourself, look at your problems. What kind of problems you are actually having? What kind of questions you are asking? The moment a person asks a question, immediately discovers it, makes it clear to the awakened one whether the person is still moving horizontal or moving vertical. Moral teachings, moral teachings are bullock cart teachings. The good and bad, this is right, this is wrong, these are bullock cart teachings. So all the religious teachings are bullock cart teachings. They do not allow you to soar vertical. Tantra's teachings are vertical. That is why all those problems are irrelevant for Tantra. The energy that you know as anger, the energy as you know sex, that you know as greed or whatsoever, is a horizontal moving. This is the bullock cart, problems of the bullock cart nature. All religious problems relating to the religion are of the nature of the bullock cart problems. This is a Hindu, that is a Christian. Why Hindus worship the gods, so many gods and goddesses? Why they worship the monkey god? Why they worship the rivers and train, the plant, the trees and the mountains? These are bullock cart problems. Tantra does not have that problem. Tantra is concerned with your energy has started moving upward, how it's transcendent, how you have to reach at a certain altitude. When you reach at a certain altitude in a moving vertical, then you can float. So greed, sex, anger, all these or whatsoever is, they are moving horizontal. Once you bring your alertness to anger, your alertness to greed, alertness to sex, its direction changes immediately. Sex is no more the problem for you that way. Anger is no more a problem that way. You know anger is moving this way, you can allow it to soar higher. The moment you learn to use the wings of anger, anger becomes compassion. Anger becomes love. The moment you know how to shoot your sex energy, vasana, it becomes upasana. The vasana becomes upasana. Passion becomes compassion, because passion is horizontal movement, a bullock cart problem. Compassion is soaring up. Once you bring alertness to anything that you have, the moment that man brought the attention, his awakening to this mechanism that was presented to him, a small aircraft, by his king, a friend who was a king, he did not know, he realized, he became aware of it, that this is why this expensive mechanism has been created, that I still consider it as a card, and why it was presented to me. Have you ever introspected why the streak of anger has been brought into you? Anger was the bullock cart, but you was the mechanism. You did not know its capabilities. You were given mind, but you are using the mind as a bullock cart. You do not know that your mind has wings also. It can take you to the higher altitude. It can make you talk to the trees. It can make you to talk to the stars, to float in the blue sky, under the sky at a higher altitude. So then all that road problem, the traffic light problems, all that problem that was bothering you while walking on the street, while driving on the street, have vanished from your life. So when somebody says that they're the basic problems, since I came in your contact or in the contact of the master, problems vanished. No problem did not. The only thing is this, you realize that your mind is no more a bullock cart. Your mind can be used, it is a mechanism, it can run on its own, it has a mechanism, you can fuel it, you can put on the ignition, it can move at a faster pace. And then one day you realize that it has wings also. Oh, I never knew that my mind has wings. And I can flap my wings to soar like a bird high in the sky. So you start using that. So all the basic problem of the road, traffic, the potholes on the street, the 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 clumsy roads, traffic, the commuters, all kind of commuters, the pedestrians, the vehicles, the bicycles, and all these. Then you have to create the zebra crossing, this crossing, crossing. At every crossing we must have a light for the pedestrians, and all these are all problems of the when your mind is moving at a horizontal plane, horizontal level. The moment it starts moving vertical, the problem's nature changes. So you enter into a different mechanism. This is what Tantra is. Once you bring alertness, you have brought a new dimension to it. Alertness brings a new dimension. Just by being alert, you begin to move upward. Why? Observe the fact. When you are alert, you are always above the fact. You are above the fact. Because alert about something, alert about anything, you are always above the fact. Above the fact. The fact is somewhere below, down, like a pothole on the street, and you are looking from above, from a peak. You have moved to the higher level of your consciousness. You are not moving at the lower level. You are looking at a lower plane. You were looking at the crowd that you see on the street from the level where the problem was. The moment when the news reporters and photographers, they are reporting a particular event that is taking place, they go at a higher altitude through different mechanisms that you see that can take them to the higher, and from there they are shooting, they are reporting. So they are looking the things from a higher altitude. This is what Meera says in one of the compositions, that I have looked at you from different angles. You can understand this very well. If you are, there is a beautiful scenery, natural or man-made, and there is an altitude from where you can look at it, but in order to reach the altitude, the staircase is a spiral. So with the spiral you reach to the same spot, but your height is different. You can move at your own pace rather than the elevator that has the glass. So you are moving at a faster pace, you cannot see the difference. When you are moving in a spiral staircase, you reach to a point from the level 1 to level 2, you will see a different, your experience will be different of the same thing. The sex is the same, the anger is the same. You are looking at it from the ground level, then you are looking at a second level, then you are looking at the third level, fourth level. Higher you go vertical, you will find a different nature of it, and you can bring about transformation in it. When you see that anger can be transformed into something in a creative manner, then it becomes, the process begins. This is what alertness brings. You were always in alertness, you are always above the fact. Become aware about anything, and you are beyond the fact. Fact is this: the anger is there. Fact is below, down. You are looking at it from level 2, from a peak. Whatever you have witnessed, whenever you have witnessed something, you have moved. Witnessing means your level of viewing the things have changed. Whenever you have witnessed something, you have moved upward. The thing has now remained below. The fact that the crowd is there at the below level, this was a fact. There was a crowd. There was a scuffle. There was an incident. This is a fact. You have gone beyond the fact. You have gone on the first floor. From there you are getting a clear view. This is witnessing. Witnessing is moving from the level where the activity is taking place to anger is happening at a lower level. Introspection or witness, you want a level beyond, level above the anger, above the factual level. And from there you start seeing something different. If this attention is really authentic, and you can be uninterruptedly aware when you look at the anger is coming into you because something is not happening your way, then if your attention is really authentic and it remains and you remain uninterruptedly aware, a process will begin within. Maybe there would have been some reason that this did not happen. So then the energy that was moving horizontally in anger as sex will move into new dimension. You have asked your wife, your spouse, or your spouse had asked you to bring something while returning from the office. You had spoken to your spouse that today a friend of mine will be coming for evening tea, so prepare these things. But somehow the other, this did not happen. You become a witness why this did not happen. Instead of anger is coming, you reach there and it did not happen. You reach and your wife realized, your spouse realized that you did not bring the item that she had asked you to do. So anger will come in. You start moving up at a different level. The same thing can happen with sex. Then you have started flying, you have started moving in a different, you have reached to a different dimension. And for lives and lives you have been using the device which was meant for flying, which was meant to soar vertically higher to a higher altitude. You had been using the mechanism that can take you to talk to the stars, but you have been using it as a bullock cart. And this is the problem. Then you have started, if you know what is the mind, if you understand its mechanism, then you will start using it as a bullock cart. You will stop using it as a vehicle. Instead, you will start using the wings that has been given, present to you by the King of the universe. He has given you this mechanism which you have never understood, never explored its full potential. It is that we are making you aware of it. Only this much for this morning. Until we meet again, take care and do have a pleasant day.